70 million acres of wide open possibilities. Nevada is untouched. A place where the desert comes to life, the ground holds the history, and nature perseveres.
So this is a public artwork by the artist named Ugo Rondinoni, and it's called Seven Magic Mountains. And it's sort of a land art piece, but it's land art meets pop art.
In the Mojave Desert, I experienced the power of public art on a wide open canvas.
So some of these trees are literally thousands and thousands of years old.
At the Great Basin National Park, I interact with one of the oldest living organisms on Earth, the Bristlecone pine trees.
Why do we care about this toad?
The Amargosa toad is a very unique species. It's found only here, and there are people that come here just to see the toad.
In Beatty, I meet the little toad that brought an entire community together.
I like to be outdoors. I like outdoor activities, but mountain biking, seriously, it's on my short list. It's one of my favorite things to do.
And I venture out for some mountain biking near Red Rock Canyon.
With one of the most spectacular views.
I'm John Burke. Join me as I explore the 7th largest state in the nation, here on Outdoor Nevada.
Now, some people see art as canvas and paint. Others use the natural landscape. And that is how you get the 7 magic mountains.
Nevada thrives on the unexpected. So does art. Now, picture art in Nevada, and you get 7 magic mountains.
Hey, Amanda.
Hey.
It is good to see you.
You too.
How's everything?
Fantastic.
Okay, so you got to help me out because I've seen this before. I've seen it. What is this?
So this is a public artwork by the artist named Ugo Rondinoni, and it's called Seven Magic Mountains. And it's sort of a land art piece, but it's land art meets pop art. And it's rising, of course, here out of the Nevada desert.
A partnership between the Nevada Museum of Art and the Production Art Fund turned 7 Magic Mountains into a concrete idea. Amanda has been there every step of the way.
The artist wanted people to be able to get out and enjoy the beauty of the desert landscape and also engage in artwork that resonated with them on a physiological level, an emotional level, but something you don't need your brain for. You know, and he even says it. He's like, this is not an intellectual piece, this is poetry. Stacking stones is something that people around the world do, and all ages of people do. Children stack stones. People who are hiking or climbing stack stones to mark their way along the trail. People for millennia around the world have been stacking stones. It's a meditative practice. We also see some of these kinds of formations jut out of the southwestern desert landscape in the form of hoodoos, the Hoodoo Mountains. So there's something very primordial about it, you know, but yet with the colors, it's definitely this artificial meets natural in this landscape and the juxtaposition of the urban with the desert.
7 Magic Mountains stays in a stark contrast of its surrounding. And it's a given that when you put something in contrast, that it elevates the other part. So I hope that people who look at this piece, 7 Magic Mountain, will extend their view to the surrounding and the landscape and will appreciate the landscape of Las Vegas.
Renowned Swiss artist Ugo Rondinoni has created relevant art pieces around the globe, whether through giant sculptures or tiny carvings, blurred paintings or enigmatic rainbow signs. His art strives to provoke primitive emotions.
Give me the nuts and bolts. How was it constructed?
Ugo Rondinoni worked with Las Vegas Paving and got some stones from their quarries. So it's Nevada limestone. Then they had to cut them. They had to core them out and so that they could put metal rods in between. They had to figure out how to lift them. So much went into it. The actual fabrication took just about a year to do. The whole process took 5 years to put together. It's a feat all on its own.
Each boulder averages 40,000 pounds, and they stack as high as 30 feet. Against the vast desert, they seem little.
It's something that you have to feel with your body as you approach, because in the landscape, in a desert landscape, scale has no real meaning unless you approach it. Then you feel the scale.
And how about the choice of the colors? How do they do it?
Ugo Rondinone, he often works with the rainbow spectrum. For him, he believes that the rainbow is a holistic system. And so here you see in Seven Magic Mountains the colors of the rainbows represented, along with silver, white, and black. So that was very intentional. It's also the brightest rainbow colors you could possibly imagine. And that's because he really wanted it to be colors that you would not typically engage in nature. And because that would make the starkest contrast with the kind of monochromatic desert landscape.
While in essence, land art blends in with nature, 13 layers of bright, high-end auto paint make Seven Magic Mountains glow. The power of the colors soften gloomy days and waken the barren desert.
You know, just as we've been chatting here, I'm really surprised by the amount of people that have come to check it out. What has the overall response been?
It has been amazing. So I will say that we had high hopes, but we could not have predicted the outpouring of love and attention that Seven Magic Mountains has received, not just from the Las Vegas community and the Nevada community as a whole, but from visitors everywhere. We estimate between 600 and 1,000 people visit Seven Magic Mountains every day.
A social media phenomenon, Seven Magic Mountains has over 20,000 mentions on Instagram alone.
One last question. When you look at it, what do you see?
I see joy. So for me, that's really what the response is in my body. I smile, it makes my heart flutter. It just brings me a lot of joy. The colors, the beauty of the desert landscape bring me joy.
I see candy.
That's an honest response as well. I get marshmallows, Play-Doh. You know, people say that stuff all the time.
Listen, just on a personal note, thank you for coming out here and spending time with me today, but also on behalf of art lovers, on behalf of people. I know you put a lot of work into this. You still are. It hasn't been easy, but you're succeeding wildly. And man, you're a rock star. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Seven Magic Mountain is an artwork of thresholds and crossings, of seclusion and gatherings, of balanced marvels and excessive colors, and the contrary air between the desert and the city lights. It evokes continuity and solidarity between the artificial and the natural, and between the human and nature. What centers this amalgam of contradiction is the spiritual aspiration, one that bruises, elevates, and transcends.
Centuries before Nevada became a state, bristlecone pine trees took root here in the Great Basin. With an over 3,000-year lifespan, these pines stand among the oldest living organisms on the planet.
The Great Basin National Park is 77,000 acres of absolute beauty and splendor, with a couple of highlights thrown in, and we're in luck today because we're going to see one. We have volunteer Mary Windsor is going to take us around. Mary, nice seeing you.
Hey, nice to see you too, John.
Hey, what a great park.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not overused.
No, we have a wonderful amount of visitation, but we're still kind of one of the hidden gems of the National Park Service.
What are we going to see today?
So today we're going to go check out our Bristlecone Pine Grove. So we're going to see trees that are over 3,000 years old.
And we got to hike first, right?
Yeah, just a short little hike through a beautiful forest.
Sounds like a good time to me. Let's go.
Okay, great.
A 1.5-mile trail takes Mary and me to the Bristlecone Pine Interpretive Loop. We breathe the thin air of the 11,000-foot altitude where these trees thrive.
All right, we made it.
Yeah.
The Bristlecone Pine Loop. Now, that trail is, I would call, moderately difficult. Would you say that?
It's moderately difficult. You definitely want to make sure you have on some good hiking shoes and you watch your step. Trekking poles can be useful, but they're not necessary.
So some of these trees are literally thousands and thousands of years old. What makes them able to last that long?
Well, they have a really amazing biology. They can grow in very harsh environments. You can see the The wood of the trees has just been whipped around by the wind, and they grow towards the sunlight. They're very good at competing for a resource, so they've been able to survive a lot longer than a lot of other species that we find up here.
Due to the harsh conditions of their environment, bristlecone pines grow very slowly. Their dense and resinous wood prevents rot and erosion.
And it's rugged up here. I mean, a lot of rocks. Is that because of glaciation?
Yeah, so we do have a remnant glacier that's just behind us actually. Through glaciations, we've seen a lot of
Rugged terrain.
rugged terrain, yeah.
A mile up from the Bristlecone Grove sits the Wheeler Peak Glacier, the only one left in Nevada. This 300-foot-long alpine glacier is likely to melt in the next 20 years.
Now tell me about this tree.
Okay, so this is one tree that we have that's 3,200 years old. As you can see, portions of the tree have died, and you can see that pretty obviously here, but also you can see this portion is still alive. And that's due to the unique root system that bristlecones have. They can sustain part of the tree while the other dies. So there's a sense of sacrifice for the overall survival of the tree.
The twists and turns on the bark represent the tree's struggle. Exposed roots dry out and die, cutting the life supply of the tree sections supported by them. Other parts of the tree remain alive, competing for a better spot under the sun.
And these trees are all individualistic, aren't they?
Yeah, they all grow as their own root system, and they do compete with each other. So sometimes you'll see them at very extreme angles trying to get that sunlight, but yeah, they are totally independent.
3,200 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, if it could talk.
I know.
Bristlecone pines keep their needles for over 40 years. By preserving them, these pines get through adverse weather without having to grow new foliage.
Now the bristlecone pine and the limber pine often live together and they can be confused, right?
So the bristlecone and the limber have a different structure in their needles. So that's a really quick way to figure out which is which. The bristlecone has tightly packed needles in groups of 5, and it's really uniform, whereas the limber is a little more loosely packed and not quite as defined.
And they really do live as neighbors. I mean, this is the limber
Yes.
pine, right?
Yes.
And you can see the color is a little more gray-green, and then this is the bristlecone.
Right.
And that's more of a yellowish type, but it does have that bristle look, that brush look, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Well, if you want to see these, you really want to know the difference because you're going to come up this far, but you've got one that's a little more accessible.
Yeah, so at our Lehman Caves Visitor Center, we actually have one planted right between the upper and lower parking lot. So you can go check that out if you're not able to make it up here or if you're short on time.
Well, let's go. I want to see it.
Yeah, let's check it out.
From the trailhead, we take the scenic drive down to the Lehman Caves Visitor Center. Bristlecone pines develop faster in mild climates and lower elevations. They only live up to 400 years, a small fraction of their potential lifespan in higher altitudes.
All right, is this the tree you were talking about?
Yeah, this is our bristlecone pine. So if you don't have time to go on the hike, you can still admire the beauty of this tree just from our parking lot.
You know, just walking around here, it's so vast, it's just humbling, isn't it?
That's the experience that we want everyone to have, and that's what's so great about our park.
And that's what happened today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
One of Nevada's state trees, the bristlecone, embodies the unbeatable spirit of the battle-born state.
Once upon a time, on the outskirts of Beatty, Nevada, there was a small toad that was on its way to becoming endangered and made its way back. But this is a story that's bigger than that. It's a story about cooperation between man and the land and man and himself. But first, let's learn more about the Amargosa toad.
Threatened by habitat loss and non-native species, the Amargosa toad got a whole community behind its conservation cause. Indigenous to Oasis Valley, these little amphibians became a symbol of cooperation in the area.
This is Michael Burrows. He is a biologist, a wildlife biologist with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Nice seeing you, sir.
Hi, John, good to see you.
Hey, thanks for joining me today.
Welcome, good to be here.
Tell me about the toad and how it got its name and what makes it different.
Well, it's got its name from where it's found here in the Amargosa River, the Amargosa toad. And it's unique because this species of toad only occurs in this area.
The name Amargosa River comes from the Spanish word amargo, which means bitter. While the river's water is indeed quite alkaline, it's also the only place in the world you can find the Amargosa toad.
Give me some of their characteristics.
This toad is characterized by this what we call mid-dorsal stripe. There's a very light stripe going down the backbone. And then the other thing we look at are what we call the parotid or parotoid glands, which are a defensive mechanism that excretes like an alkaloid substance as defense. And the shape and length and size of those is pretty unique to different species of toads.
Why do we care about this toad?
The Amargosa toad is a very unique species. It's found only here, and there are people that come here just to see the toad.
You know, that's amazing, isn't it? That
It is.
What we're looking at is only found, you want to see this, you got to come here. That's
Right.
amazing.
It is. It's just a 10-mile stretch of the Amargosa River and a few springs off the river, and that's it. That's the only place they're found. Very, very small distribution.
What would you say is the number one thing they need?
They need actual open water, and a lot of times what happens is vegetation will come and encroach upon the water and choke it out, and then the toads really can't use it anymore, and then they either have to go away or they disappear.
A species that needs open water living in one of the driest places on Earth? It's a precarious position, and for a while the Amargosa toad was a candidate for the endangered species list.
They sure are cute. How are they doing today, numbers-wise?
They're doing very well. We, in partnership with many people in the community and other agencies, have been very, very successful in understanding what they need and providing that for them through habitat improvements and just monitoring the populations. We've been concerned about a disease that's been affecting a lot of amphibians worldwide, and the pathogen for that disease is here, but these animals don't seem to be affected by it, which is a really good thing.
Well, I know you've got your eye on the health of these things, and for that I thank you. And now I'm going to go check out the owner of this joint and see what role he played in helping this thing come back and thrive in its numbers.
Sounds good.
And I apologize in advance because I'm going to shake your hand with a slimy finger.
Sounds good.
One of the key players in helping the Amargosa toad population leap back to health is David Spicer, a rancher who owns some of the toad's habitats.
David, it is nice to see you, sir.
Nice to see you too, John. Glad you could make it today.
How many acres you got here?
320 on the base ranch.
Now tell me about the time that you met the toad.
The toad has been here forever. When we were kids growing up, we used to get the tadpoles out and raise them in the tank, and they turn to toads. They were in the yard. In 1993, there was a petition that was filed to list them as endangered.
The regulations triggered by the Endangered Species Act can be restrictive, so David and his fellow landowners were initially worried about the lawsuit.
My community was completely upside down when they had faced the Ash Meadows pupfish situation back in the 70s. That was the first enforcement act of endangered species that occurred.
This happened in the 70s, so 93 comes along, somebody files a lawsuit, and they're thinking,
That's
here
right.
we go again.
Here we go again.
But in the midst of hostility, David opted for a different approach: cooperation.
We decided that we needed to create an opportunity to where we could have relationships with our government, a meaningful relationship instead of something that was confrontational. Well, we took a spring and redeveloped that spring, put running water back out there, created a habitat, and those toads began to prosper. That broke all the walls down because our result was a direct increase in the Amargosa toad population on this ranch.
And the result was not just in the population of the toad, but in the cooperation of all the agencies that got involved in this issue.
Who can argue with something that's obviously doing a good thing?
Mutual efforts prevented the Amargosa toad from being listed under the Endangered Species Act. The toad remains state protected and considered a species of special concern for federal agencies.
It's interesting because to sustain this and to improve upon what you've done for not only here in the toad and in Beatty, you've combined this with one of your personal passions.
I have. Personal passion of cycling, of mountain biking, road cycling. We live right next to Death Valley, some of the finest riding in the world.
So to boil it down, you've actually gone up on these hills with a shovel and created mountain biking trails.
We built these entirely by hand. Jackhammers, hand, picks, shovels. We have 42 miles of trails here.
You are somebody who has helped break down a lot of walls, helped build up the environment, and it's been a pleasure spending time with you.
Well, thank you for that. I hope I can live up to that.
Yeah, you already have.
Thank you, John.
A success story, the Amargosa Toad symbolizes the power of coming together for the common good of man and nature.
This is just a small segment of the mountain biking trail that David has cut into his land for the benefit of his entire community. And I think if there's one thing that this great Nevadan has shown us today, that the path of cooperation takes many twists and turns and they can get dusty. But if you see it through to the end, we'll all make it to the finish line. On Route 159 next to Red Rock Canyon, there's a sleepy little hamlet called Blue Diamond. And you might be tempted to think that nothing much happens here. But then you'd be missing out on the over 140 miles of mountain biking trails. Until today.
Mountain biking boasts a bevy of health benefits while also allowing you to get out and soak up some of Nevada's beautiful scenery. Today, I'll be pedaling along part of the vast system of trails in the Blue Diamond area.
Amy, how you doing?
Nice to meet you, John.
Good seeing you. How's everything?
It's great. We have a great day to ride bikes.
Meet Amy Farnsworth, tour manager of McGee's Ski, Bike, and Board. As an 11-year veteran of these trails, there's no one better equipped to lead us through this wild terrain.
Tell me about this area, Blue Diamond. I think a lot of people don't know about it.
Well, it's a great little town. It was originally called Cottonwood Springs. And then as the Blue Diamond Mining Company moved in and made it their company town, changed the name to Blue Diamond. And it's been that since the early 20s.
And this is the place to come, really, if you want to do mountain biking in this area, because Red Rock Canyon just down the road, but you don't mountain bike in Red Rock Canyon.
No, Red Rock Canyon has some incredible road bike riding through there, but we are at the trailhead for 140 miles of mountain bike trails, all single track.
And what levels are you talking about?
You know, there's really something for everyone, and depending on skill and fitness level, we can tear it up, or we can find nice mellow riding for you.
Well, I got to tell you that I like to be outdoors. I like outdoor activities, but mountain biking, seriously, it's on my short list. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Well, you're going to find that just outside of Vegas, we have a real gem for mountain biking.
I can see it already. Let's get started.
All right, let's
see
go.
what you got.
Miners named Blue Diamond after the flawless minerals they drew from the earth. And while there were no actual diamonds, the land produces some of the purest gypsum you could ever find.
So, Ted, we are on the old Spanish Trail, which from 1829 to 1848 was the trade route from northern New Mexico to Southern California.
All right, I'm officially having one of the best days of my life out here. Where are we exactly?
So we're on the southern edge of the Red Rock National Conservation Area, but what a lot of people don't realize is we are in the Mojave Desert here. And just over those mountains, you'll be in Death Valley.
Super cool. And you know what's interesting is right down that way, I could just see the Las Vegas Strip. I could see the stratosphere. Out there right now, there's some businessman thinking, oh, I wish I could get out of here and go do something fun, but I don't know what it is, and he's so close to this.
And you know what? Those businessmen do find us. Those are repeat guests that turn into friends that we ride with year after year after year.
Okay, so what's this trail?
So we're going to head down to the iconic Rubber Duck Trail.
Rubber Duck Trail?
Absolutely.
What is that?
We'll find out when we get there.
Let's go.
All right.
Part of a 140-mile trail system in the Red Rock Canyon area, the Rubber Ducky Trail is a destination for hikers and bikers. Local creativity makes the trail a must-stop in Amy's 250 tours a year.
And here we are, the Rubber Duck Trail.
What is this?
So there used to be a branch that went across the trail with a single rubber duck on it. And it was to remind you, as you went by, to duck your head so you didn't hit your head on the branch.
And now people come by in homage to that duck?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you can see that people write on this. This one says 2012 Larissa.
Larissa, we found your duck. It's still here. It's safe. You know, this is a good testament to this state. I mean, if you'll just get outside, get a little further down the road, you have no idea what you're going to find.
Rubber ducks?
It's the coolest, most random thing ever. You got to come see this for yourself.
Many of the trails out here started as tracks for the wild burros. They seldom need maintenance due to the lack of rain. The organic essence of the trails make you feel like you're part of nature, while human touches like the duck tree remind you that you're part of a special community. Quite an exceptional combination.
You know what it seems like? It seems like the trails out here are just endless.
140 miles of endless.
It's just beautiful. Thank you so much for having me out here today.
It was a great day, thanks.
What a blast. We're gonna keep going. There's more to see, more to do. Sure hope you get out here and do the same thing. After you, ma'am.
Support for Outdoor Nevada comes from Jaguar Land Rover Las Vegas and Jaguar Land Rover Reno, inspiring the spirit of adventure with confidence in any terrain or conditions. Information at jlrlv.com or jlrreno.com.